Deep beneath the ancient vaults of Vatican, behind massive doors and reinforced bolts, lies one of the most secretive financial empires in the world. Known officially as the Institute for the Works of Religion, or simply the Vatican Bank, this institution has for decades operated in the shadows, influencing the fate of states and corporations worldwide. Originally established in 1942 by Pope Pius XI to manage funds designated for religious and charitable activities, the bank quickly evolved into something far more complex and shadowy. The unique sovereign status granted to the institution placed it outside the jurisdiction of Italian and international regulators, creating an environment ripe for secrecy and abuse. The historical foundations of secrecy and corruption. The Vatican Bank's first president, Bernardino Nogara, was a financial mastermind who laid the foundation for the bank's secretive and powerful operations. He understood that absolute discretion was key to managing the church's assets effectively. Through a complex network of offshore companies and banks, Nogara ensured that operations were shielded from public scrutiny. During World War II and the post-war period, the bank made investments in military industries on all warring sides, a tactic designed to profit irrespective of the outcome of the conflict. These operations, funneled through shell companies, were practically impossible to trace. However, while officially functioning for the advancement of Catholic countries, these investments were often of questionable origin and intent. Over time, the Vatican Bank attracted high-profile clients, including church officials, diplomats, Italian elites, and increasingly, figures from organized crime. The Mafia connection and financial scandals. The Vatican Bank's ties to organized crime began almost by accident, but developed rapidly. Italian criminals and mafia groups saw the bank's absolute secrecy and inviolability as the perfect tool to legalize and hide illicit funds from drug trafficking, racketeering, and other crimes. Key figures such as Sicilian banker Michele Signona, dubbed God's banker, bridged the worlds of devout Catholicism and organized crime. Partnering with influential church officials like Archbishop Paul Marcinkus, Sindona and his associates helped funnel millions through the bank, often disguised as charitable donations or investments in legitimate enterprises. Bank accounts were frequently opened under frontmen or supposedly charitable organizations, masking the true nature of the funds. These complex schemes helped criminal groups integrate their proceeds into the legal economy, often with little oversight from Vatican authorities. The rise and fall of Roberto Calvi. Another central figure in the Vatican Bank's turbulent history was Milanese banker Roberto Calvi, also known as God's banker in press circles. Ascending to become chairman of Banco Ambrosiano, Italy's largest private bank with strong Vatican ties, Calvi was involved in developing an extensive financial network. Banco Ambrosiano relied on Vatican bank guarantees to issue loans to Latin American companies, many of which were fictitious. Calvi's schemes involved creating offshore subsidiaries and transferring funds through countries with lax banking secrecy to obscure their true origin. By the early 1980s, mounting losses and investigations revealed that Banco Ambrosiano was effectively bankrupt. In 1982, Calvi was found dead, hanging under London's Blackfriars Bridge in what was initially ruled suicide, but later suspected to be murder, symbolizing the deadly consequences of deep corruption and murky alliances, modern reforms, and current challenges. In recent decades, under the leadership of reformist popes, The Vatican Bank has undergone multiple changes to improve transparency and combat abuses. This includes the introduction of stricter financial regulations, comprehensive audits, and cooperation with international anti-money laundering organizations. Yet, suspicions persist that some shady connections still linger in the corridors of power. The bank remains at the intersection of faith, finance, and global politics, raising questions about how much influence the church exerts behind the scenes through its vast financial network. Ongoing challenges include digital transformation, the rise of cryptocurrencies, and the continued need to deny sanctuary to corrupt actors seeking to exploit Vatican sovereignty for illicit gains. Conclusion: the Vatican Bank in the global financial web. The story of the Vatican Bank is a tale of secrecy, power, scandal, and ongoing struggle. From its beginnings as a modest religious fund manager to becoming a financial juggernaut intertwined with global crime syndicates, the bank's history reflects both the complexity of modern finance and the shadowy intersections of religion and politics. As reforms attempt to bring the bank into the 21st century, the world watches to see whether transparency and accountability will finally prevail, or if the Vatican's financial empire will continue to navigate the shadows.